Ba 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 ba. Hello everybody, and today we are celebrating the moon landing by recreating the moon landing using Kerbal Space Program. It's going to take me a little while. It's going to be some finickety mucking about. It's going to be fine. We're going to get there. It's only the moon. Yeah. If they did it in the 1960s, then I'm sure I can do it in 2019. So anyway, I am going to be quiet for a bit and build a moon landing spaceship. It's probably going to take some time, so I will maybe put this in fast forward or possibly just edit to when I've finished. Who knows? But let's see. Okay, I've finished building a rocket. I have absolutely no idea if it will work. This is what it looks like. It's basically the thing I really learned just now from building this rocket is that it has been a very, very long time since I last played Kerbal Space Program, and many things are extremely different to how they used to be. I sort of feel like I need some fins on this rocket. Just to give it a bit of control. It's going to be no control at all. It's going to be laughably difficult to fly this machine. But hey, there you go. Mun Shot 1. So let us go to the launch pad. And this is where I really am going to have to try and remember the game. I also, there's a load of controls on this game, and I have not really got a Scooby what they are anymore. I know you have to turn that on and that on, otherwise you will crash. Jebediah Kerman is the best at flying to begin with, I think. He likes taking the risks. I've got it set up so that we can't transmit science, that's fine. We haven't got any science stuff on this thing. We're literally going to go there for the purposes of going there, and then hopefully get out and stand on the moon, maybe plant a flag, and then come home. That's the plan. The plan probably won't work. I mean, largely because I can't really remember how the game works. And there we go. Those solid fuel boosters are not generating enough lift to get the craft off the ground. There they go. Right, let's abandon that. Let's go back into the assembly thing. So we need more thrust, which is fine. I mean, maybe if I set off using the main engine and the thing at the same time, maybe that will work. Now let me just think I probably just need to do that. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, save, launch. So this time we're going to turn the thrust on the big engine up, which I believe there's a... What do we press to do that? No, it's not that. It's... Ooh. Okay. Where's the throttle up button? It's not that. Man alive, I'm going to have to go and get all the instructions for this. It's shift and control. Shift throttles up, control throttles down. Okay, so we're at max throttle. Engine's open as wide as it can possibly be. We've turned on the stabilizing things. Let's go. That's got lift. So basically, I don't know how much you know about rockets. You don't want to get too fast too early. So I'm going to throttle back down on the main engine, save some fuel. Because what you don't want is to... Basically, we're in the very thick atmosphere at the moment. We're down, still counting as this bit here. You don't want to go past about 200, really, until you're out of this bit. So this is going to be an interesting thing. I don't know whether we're going to make it. We're not using the main engine at the moment. We are getting a bit of lift. We have just run out of main engine of our side boosters, so we will let's try and keep that to 200. Just 200. And we're going to lean over at around about 1,000 meters. Sorry, 10,000. I'm going to go like that. Okay, I'm going to turn the RCS off because that's a waste of fuel. And we're now getting into the slightly thinner atmosphere, which is good. It's about time to turn the engine on a bit more, I think. Okay, this is the parabola that we are currently going to be describing to land us in the sea, which clearly we don't want. 2,000 meters is not high enough by a long stretch. We are now into the thinner bit of the atmosphere. Got about half our main fuel tank left. We're not going to make it to the moon, but I am going to now give us a full burn and see how far we can get. What you want is for that to reach around about 90 to 100, and then you can kind of kill the engine after that point and cruise up to that height, and then you can turn that into a proper orbital thing. Now, how are we doing on fuel? We're not getting any air resistance particularly. Well, we're just getting through the tail end of the air, which is why everything went a little bit red for a minute there. That was kind of, I think they call that max Q. And then you'll see this goes suddenly ridiculously high acceleration because there's no resistance anymore, and we're just sort of shooting out of the atmosphere. Let's just kill the engine for a minute. Have a quick look back here. Yeah, we've gone way too high, so we don't need any engine for a minute. We're going to cruise out to here, then we're going to add a maneuver which will boink, turn that into a circle. Like so. Yep, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to wait. We're going to wait for a bit. There's little Jeb down here. He's having a good time. We are officially in space. So that's cool. Where's the moon? Oops, that's the wrong way. What we want to try and do, oops, is... oh, let's forget about that for a minute. I'm going to try and bring it up to a circle before I worry about anything else. It's been a very, very long time since I played this game. I think you can speed up time, but I don't really want to. I have gone way, way too high. And now I am slightly changing the orientation of my spaceship, because what I've decided is I'm going to do something else. Brake. I turn the RCS on. Stop! No, well, we're drifting all over the place. Okay, what I don't want to do is turn the engine on. This is the horizon, okay? So at the moment I'm pointing at the ground. Don't particularly want to fire the engines while pointing at the ground. That seems like it would be a bit of a waste. So I'm trying to just maneuver it back so we get to that point there. You can see where my mouse pointer is. Just right there on that line is what we want. That's what we want. Now let's go and check out this maneuver. It is telling me I am going to need to spend 800 meters, 864 meters per second worth of stuff. You can tell that at one stage I knew what I was talking about. I can't remember how to play this game at all. If I fire up the engines at this point in time, while we are flying straight across a planet beneath us, like that, we can see that this number goes down as we change our delta V, but we are going to run out of fuel. What we can do here, if we go and look at the old thing, as soon as that is, there we go, kill the engines. We've just run out of fuel. So there we go. Failed to make it to the moon. Or have we? Or have we? Tell you what we can do, right? We can jettison everything behind us. So now we just have the landing module. Now we've got... let's just cancel this maneuver. Because it's rubbish. Ooh, what have I done there? Pressed the wrong buttons. This is the problem of not knowing what's going on. So this thing will fly around the planet forever. This little thing is now where we are. We've got a bit of control there. Not really very much control. It's probably because we don't have... I don't really know why we haven't got much control. It's because I've just done that, isn't it? There we go. Cancel the maneuver. Right. So what we need to do is find a way that we can get to the moon. So let's have a look here. If we go on this particular node and stretch out our orbit in this way. That little marker is a closest approach marker. And you can kind of jiggle this around until you find a good one. So basically between these 2 points is closest approach. That's not really very good. So you can see that the circle kind of increases in width. It might be that maybe if we go over here, let's have a look. Find it. There we go. Boy, there's really quite close to being a potential hookup with the planet. Let's try there. Right, now we can I found the speed up time button, so we can fly around the planet until we get round to our maneuver. Donk. Which is here. Whoop, 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 whoop. Then we can come out of map mode. Make sure that we are lined up in the direction that we want to go, which is there. And then we hit the go button. Oh, have I failed to turn on my engine? There we go. So this, we've actually got quite a lot of fuel in here because it's only a small engine. So we've got the main tank and the 4 little subsidiary tanks. So this is going to take a little time because it's not generating that much thrust for the weight that we've got. It's all about physics. But that looks like we are going to quite easily get this 330 meters per second, probably with about that much fuel left. So this should be a goer now, because I built the spaceship in a sensible way. And what you'll see if we look at the map, this will gradually push itself out because this is the representation of the orbit that we're going to take around the planet. Once it gets up here, we will be in a place where we can meet the moon. There's 2 moons. This is the Mun. Out here is Mimas. We're not going out to Mimas. We're just going to go to the Mun. Mimas is a bit tricky because it's tiny. It doesn't have very much gravity. So actually when you arrive there, you can sort of not get into its gravitational pull. Oh, we're nearly there. Ooh. Okay. So, we now have a meeting point arranged with the Mun, and I can speed up time. We can gradually leave the safety of home behind and head out towards this little bad boy. I'm just going to stop while we're midway there, because... Am I going to stop? No, I'm not. I'm going to wait until we get closer. We are... You can see that kind of curveball approach. Let's just see. We're basically going to nearly hit the thing. We're going to kind of spiral right round it. So... What this blue line means, when we get past this, we are having an encounter, which means that the primary gravitational force that affects the spaceship will be the Mun. So if we just watch that come a little bit closer, that's probably about it. Slow us down, have a look where we are. Right, so now... I've actually made it so that our closest approach is going to be ridiculously fast, but very, very close. Let's add a maneuver. Oh, actually, it looks like we're going to hit it. So what we're going to... That's too far away. What we're going to do is we're going to get there in an hour and 30 minutes time, which I can speed up. Then we're going to do a maneuver to slow us down a bit. Right, let's just twiddle. Now I'm doing this on the map. I could be doing this watching at the spaceship, but I don't need to. There is no actual physical requirement for looking at your spaceship, because let's face it, when they did this in reality, they couldn't sit in a god mode outside their spaceship. Although, to be honest, when they did it in reality, they couldn't sit and do this either. The people in NASA were doing all of this on pen and paper using orbital mechanic calculations. It's very clever stuff. So here we go. Let's just give ourselves a little bit of a nudge, because we want that blue line to not go through the centre of the planet, because at the moment that's certain death. So let's just do this, pull it out, because the blue line is reality, the dotted line is what would happen after you've finished your manoeuvre. So there we go, and then we can close that down, stop. Now, next, when we get right close, I think something's gone slightly amiss. Let's just kill that maneuver. Kill that maneuver. Hey. Here we sorry, it's this one we need to get rid of. Right. So this now... Whoa! That was the door slamming in the wind. Oops, wrong one. We should now be able to... Oops. Close that into a nice circle. Bum-ba-dum. Like so, that will do us. At the expense of 261 meters per second worth of manoeuvring thrust. How are we doing on fuel? Still got absolutely loads. When we get there, we're going to be wanting to point at this blue target, which is that. And now if I put the speed up a bit, you can have the horrific, we're going to crash into a planet sensation, which I love so much. Still a long way away. Whoa. Still 2 minutes away from the maneuver. This is handily timing me down. The burn time it's saying is 36 seconds. What that really means is that you should start the burn at around about 20 seconds before the node, and then hopefully you will finish and it will make sense. So there's 20 seconds before the node. If I turn my engine on at this point, everything should start slowing down, and this line, this big blue line, which is the reality line, will start curving in, because at the moment if we stay on our current path, we're going to be flung off into space without any orbital nonsense to bring us back. So just squeeze, 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 squeeze. What we don't want is to be going too fast when we actually come into land, because that's a bit of a pain. There's also a couple of different methods of landing on the moon, or on any orbital body. There we go. So that's that manoeuvre done. You can cancel that. We are now in a nice orbit of the moon, and if I speed up time, we will go whizzing around the moon. Whee! Round to the dark side of the Mun. Can't see a thing. Back out into the sunshine. Ta-da! Sunshine. So we've just been round the moon. We need to land on the moon. So let's slow down time. So there's one school of thought which says that you're going around in a circle. You can burn fuel opposite to that circle to bring yourself to a dead stationary point and then fall. Or you can gradually burn fuel and it will make you sort of fall in a slightly decreasing circle. So you've got the choice of falling straight or falling in a curve. And I'm not really certain which way is better. So what I'm just going to do, because I don't want to land in the darkness, I'm just going to stick a maneuver here. I'm going to pull that there like that. In fact, we can land in that crater. How's that for a good laugh? And that will cost us 47, which is hardly any thrust at all. But it will mean that we crash. So what we're going to have to do is basically slow down a bit. We're not going to end up in this crater at all. We're going to slow down a bit, and we're going to land kind of manually from this point. I'm going to switch to this view. I'm going to get myself angled up nice and right. Basically, if you want to hit a planet and you're flying around it in an orbit, you need to decelerate your orbit, and this is what we will now do, like this, with a bit of that action. That will bring us nicely slowed down. Now, in fact, we don't even need this maneuver. That flip that the planet just did indicates that we are now going to crash into that planet unless we do something different. And that's fine. I'm happy with that. Because we want to land. That was the idea. You know. That's the plan. Of course, we're in space now, so we can extend our struts. I do realise that I have absolutely forgotten to put any lighting on the spaceship. So that's why I'm landing on the daytime side of the Mun, because you don't want to land in the dark. You can't see where you're going. I did build a ladder so that the guy will be able to, Jebediah will be able to get out, climb down his ladder and then climb back in. So that's cool. The only problem is that we are kind of a long way above this place at the moment. It's going to take a while to land, so can I speed it up? Yeah. Cannot walk faster than 1 when the ship is under acceleration. So I can turn the engine off and then speed it up a bit. And then stop. What you don't want to end up doing is accidentally committing suicide by crashing straight into the moon. We are still going pretty fast, 300, and we're not going. Yeah, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill our orbital momentum, and I'm going to sort of drop more directly. Pew! And what should happen is that line will now retract a bit. That should basically do it. I would just like to be falling in a more straight line than this. That'll do it. That will do it. So yeah, we are falling. We're falling at an angle. I need to... Well, how far? We're quite far up. Let's speed up a little bit. Because what we need to do is make sure that we can scrub off that speed before we hit the ground. But what you don't want to do is waste all your fuel and then find that you've come to a dead stop 10 miles up. Oh! And that's what happens when you try and press shift over and over and over again, because you're trying to just ever so slightly feather the engines up. So what I'm doing now is I've got them switched on a very, very low, sort of a quarter thrust, and we are gradually slowing down whilst we're also gradually falling. And what we've got to try and do, and there's some differential maths involved, which I can't do in my head, so I'm kind of guessing. You have to basically make it so that that number reaches 0 at the same time that the number at the top reaches 0. So this number here, currently 120 meters per second that we are falling, needs to hit 0 at the same time that this number reaches the 0. So is that going to happen? We are now, what, 8,000 meters above and doing 90 meters a second. Now, if I was clever, which I am, but if I was cleverer, I could work out that maths, but in a sort of a live environment of sitting here trying to think what's going on, I can't work that maths out. I think if anything we probably need to do less thrust, because any landing above about 6 meters per second is, well, below 6 meters per second is fine. Nothing will break and it will all be great. So just to kind of fall at this speed is probably alright. And it's kind of serene. I don't think when Buzz Lightyear was doing it, I don't think he was probably as calm as I am now. I don't think he was as serene as I'm finding it right now. Oh, there's my shadow. That's slightly worrying. But it's fine because you can just literally scrub off a load of speed really quite quickly. Why am I not thrusting anymore? Oh my life! Do you know what I've done? I've forgotten to put a fuel pipe between the extra fuel and the engine. Death. Oh my god, we didn't die. Oh. I might be able to salvage a landing using RCS. Oh my god, I'm down! Ah! Oh, whoops. I'm on the moon! Yay! Yay! So there we go. In a matter of, let's see now, I've recorded this, I've played this, I put it in sandbox mode. There is a career mode, and I genuinely would advise playing in career mode because it's much, much more fun. But it does take absolutely ages. I haven't played this game in around about 12 months. Since the last time I played it, they finished it and actually brought out proper expansions, which didn't used to exist. Yeah. It's a really good, solid game. It's good fun. It's complicated. It's difficult to sort out. But ultimately, if it's the sort of thing which appeals to you, it's incredibly rewarding. Jeb was here. It's incredibly rewarding. It's really good fun, and I thoroughly recommend it. I mean, why wouldn't you love this game? I've got this totally wrong. I have enough fuel in these 4 tanks around the outside. That would have got Jeb home. But I have not attached anything within the ship to connect the fuel in these pods here to the central chamber. So I'm afraid... I mean, he gets the lovely view. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? But unfortunately... Here remains Jeb until a rescue party can come and pick him up in a new spaceship, which has been properly designed by somebody who's not an imbecile. I have been inspired by space travel throughout my life since I was a small boy. I came into being in 1976. So I remember the space shuttle. I was there when all sorts of things went wrong. I saw them building the International Space Station bit by bit. Most of you guys have probably grown up and it's just been there and it's been massive and it's been doing things. But I remember when the first thing went up and I remember when they attached the second thing. It's been inspirational. It's made me love science. It's made me fascinated by the galaxy out there. This game is a really nice sort of way of trying to get to grips with some of the physics and the mathematics which goes on, but in an accessible way. Maybe not quite in an accessible way, but there are some great tutorial videos that you can watch where people will actually explain how it all works. Scott Manley. Find Scott Manley. He's a really good guy. He does a lot of Twitter and he does a lot of YouTube, and it's normally Kerbal or something about actual real life science. He's kind of sits across those two, real life science and Kerbal. Great game, good guy, lovely to play, enjoyable to watch hopefully. I hope you like it, and this is, as I said, my tribute to NASA and all the amazing work that goes on outside of our own atmosphere. Keep up the good work, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.